So, Rebecca, I have like 7 videos of you waving at the camera. Okay, so someone last class asked a question. I think his name was Bruno, and he said, "When are we going to do like real learning?" And that was an interesting question because this is an interesting thing for some of you, depending on how you look at learning. There should be a few of you. How many of you right now feel like this isn't really learning? Yeah. Well, have a theory and then say why do you think it's not?
Well, we're not really doing anything like, we're not writing, we're not doing social studies, we're kind of just like, we're not learning to manage.
Okay, now I'm going to show you something just happened. Audit began speaking, and then 7 people basically screamed at me. Do you realize that 2 of your grades in Power School are speaking and listening? 7 of you right there, how did you do with your listening skills? Okay, so let's see if this is still equally not important. Anyone else have another reason why this isn't really important? Right?
I'm going to be kind of devil's advocate. So it isn't learning because we're not doing anything academic, but we are technically learning about one another. So there is an aspect of learning, but not
So the learning we're doing is about our peers.
Yeah.
Okay, are you learning about yourselves at all? Kind of. You also learn about yourselves and how you interact with each other, and some of your strengths and weaknesses. Some of you struggle to interact with each other. So,
So I think this is really, well, part of it is kind of learning because we're learning about each other, but then it's kind of like in math class we're learning about, so basically what we're doing right now is like in math class we're learning about science, when we're actually supposed to learn about math, because that's what the class is supposed to be doing.
okay, and this class is about what? What is the root word of humanities?
human.
Human. Okay, so human. So the grades I have for you that I was required to give is reading, writing, speaking, listening, and then for history it's knowledge and inquiry, transfer tasks, and how well you actually just focus on those 2. Okay, so I would argue that speaking and listening we've done the least amount this year. Definitely writing and reading we've done a ton of. Okay? And so this class is not called reading and writing class. Okay? Now, question for you, what's more important, learning about the Aztecs or being able to talk in a circle? Okay? If you have a theory, please give a theory and explain why you believe that. Aaron.
Because when we grow up, are we really going to be like, there's a small chance of us growing up to be doing something about the Aztecs, but there's a big chance for us, like if we have, like, let's say an office job or a job, and then when you're in a meeting or something, then you'd be talking with other people, maybe in a circle.
Good. I love the way Aaron said it. Basically, perfectly well said. There is a chance you could do a job that relates to history, archaeology, the Aztecs specifically. That is possible. There is a job you potentially could become a writer. You could become a mathematician, a scientist, an engineer. All the jobs, an athlete from your PE classes, an artist, you could become an actor. All those are definitely possible. What's the only thing I guarantee you'll have to do in adulthood? Interact with human beings. Even if it's not your career, what else is this preparing you for? Which part of life? Life is kind of general. Socializing with who? Specific. Like what is one of the most important relationships you'll ever have? Family. Okay, family could be adults, it could be your children, it could be your spouse. Okay, not that you have to choose any of those routes, but if you do, that's going to be a very important conversation. Now, I know from my experience that if you do not, I've seen in my family, and I've seen from friends' family, when they don't communicate well, that doesn't lead to a healthy family situation. Do you think that impacts your work day if you're upset at home?
Yes.
Yeah, and so a lot of times people struggle at home. They yell at each other, they don't talk to each other, they talk behind each other's backs. Okay, all that stuff occurs, so we're working on some of those skills right now. So I would argue that you work 8 to 10 hours a day. How many hours are left in a day? 14. Of those, let's say you sleep 8. There's 6 hours a day we haven't really counted for. Those 6 hours, you're communicating offense with other people. But you also can learn from yourselves right now. It's like, when do you like to be alone? Some of you like this experience right now. It's very uncomfortable for you because you really like alone time. And so you have to realize that when this is stressing you out, hopefully you find some time during your life at the end of the day to kind of be alone. So both those things are important. Okay? So, is this learning?
Yes.
But it's just a different type of learning. Is it assessed?
Yeah.
Could I use those habits and attitudes of learning? Engaged, collaborative. So I would say that right now I have a better idea of how you are for your HAL grades than I do when you're writing a fan fiction story or literary essay. So those grades, oftentimes for HAL, I have to kind of get a general idea that this is actually the best exposure I have to those grades. So I would say that right now there are 4 things I can grade you on. How engaged you are, how collaborative you are, how well a listener you are, and how good a speaker you are. Let's look back to audit. Audit spoke, and by the time he finished, 7 people had yelled at him. You're not doing a very good job of listening. Okay, does that kind of make sense as far as why? And I think it's important you know why we're doing this. If I just kind of come in here one day and say, okay, I really don't like my hair, so I really want to cut hair. And it's Saturday you cut hair. Okay, and basically just one person cut my hair, the rest all watched them cut my hair. That'd be difficult for me to justify how that was necessary. How about games? Any value to playing board games, card games, those kind of games? Any value? Nice.
Because
You socialize, and what else happens in games where it's important? Okay. It takes you to a place where? Okay, so she said it takes you to a place where laptops don't take you. What do you mean? It's like isolated, it's more interactive, you said? Yep. Okay, what else? Board games. Some things occur in board games where I've seen them, and I usually let these things happen. I listen around the room and just let it occur. What are some other things, Rod? Right, conflicts. Because inevitably there'll be conflicts over rules, over who's winning and losing. And then what do I kind of want to wait and see how you resolve it? Some of you will try to resolve with your physical presence. Your voice will get louder. Your body will get bigger. Some of you will try to be calm and logical. Some of you won't be playing, but you'll try to moderate. Those are all skills you need to learn. Because some of you, your only way of solving problems is to get bigger with a louder voice. Will that cause a problem in adulthood?
Yes.
That's a challenging person to work with. I am a large person. I have to be very careful that I don't use my physical presence to intimidate you. Okay, and if anything, I try to sometimes be like soft and sensitive and sweet. Okay, so that you're not totally scared of what person. But if every single day, motto. Motto's like, I don't like my class anymore. Could you please stop staring at me, teacher? Right now, motto's heart sleep. So I have to realize that my physical presence is. So I have to be careful. So you guys, your first day of school when you met me, you probably thought I was a certain person. And then over the years, that impression might or might not have changed. Okay. So, games are important, okay? So sometimes with games, also, I need you to learn how to win and lose. Some of you don't win and lose well. We haven't done a lot of games where there's winning and losing. Today we'll be doing some things that involve winning and losing to see how you handle that experience. Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you, 92% of your life you're going to lose. The amount of times you actually win at something are so rare. And no, like when you guys practice for a sport, think about a baseball. Baseball, 7 out of 10 times you fail. 3 out of 10 times you're successful, that's really good. If you make 5 out of 10 baskets, that's good. If you, in music, the only way you ever get better is you try the harder song, and you mess up at it a ton, and then eventually you get it. But if you keep playing the Ode to Joy the whole life, oh my gosh. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so, first activity we're going to do, everyone needs to stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up.